take a look at the MVPs from over the weekend. We'll start down at Del Mar, where Juan Hernandez would win 6 races on Saturday. Typically, the MVP is reserved for the equine athletes, but every once in a while, you'll have a jockey or a trainer that just goes off, and they deserve to get one of the spots, and that is the case here for Juan Hernandez, who had won 5 races up to this point already, and then he has the mount on the Speedy Heredia in the yellow ribbon, and he says, you know what, let's just make it 6, and it wasn't even close. He looks back and has a 3-length lead on the competition. What a day it was for Juan Hernandez on Saturday. So 2 spots left. I know the Arlington Million winner has to be one of them. Will it be number 1 or number 2 for Fort Washington? It'll be number 1, because El Corobes is going to be your number 2 MVP and taking the sword dancer under Flavien Pratt. Look at him in almost last at this point, turning for home. I think the chart has him second from last, has to weave his way through horses here and eventually come on and catch the stablemate Nation's Pride, and also have to fend off Rebel Red, who runs a monster race up on the outside for Cherie DeVoe and Irad Ortiz Jr. But Pratt and Appleby with the winner, El Corobes. So that takes us to our number 1 MVP, and his name is Fort Washington, who comes from last to first to win the Arlington Million. There he is in the blue cap on the far outside. Junior Alvarado has to pass every single one of the runners. Let's listen in to Jason Beam.
Company is coming. Here's Mystic Dan. Here's Integration. Here's Cairo. Fort Washington letting loose right down the far outside has a tremendous kick. Grand Sonata goes to the rail. There's 6 across the course. Fort Washington, Integration, Grand Sonata, Mystic Dan right there in between them. 4 of them across. Fort Washington goes narrowly to the front. Grand Sonata down toward the inside. Integration is beaten today. Fort Washington, Grand Sonata, Fort Washington wins the Arlington Million.
Congratulations to this week's MVPs, Juan Hernandez, El Corobes, and Fort Washington.